At long last, my review of Green Lantern.
Let beauty come out of ashes. Let beauty...
Just kidding. This is my review of Deadpool 2, and the film is directed by David Leitch and is starring Ryan Reynolds, Josh Brolin, Zazie Beetz, Morena Baccarin, Julian Dennison, Brianna Hildebrand, and Stefan Kapicic. Before I go any further, I just want to say there will not be any plot spoilers in this review. This is the sequel to the hit Deadpool film that came out in 2016, and this film centers once again around the character of Deadpool portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, and this time he has to deal with protecting a young mutant who is being pursued by this character known as Cable, who has come from the future. David Leitch is someone who you may know as one half of the directing duo that worked on the John Wick film from a few years ago starring Keanu Reeves. That is a great action spectacle. He's also the director of Atomic Blonde, which was another action film that came out last year starring Charlize Theron, and this film definitely utilizes a lot of his positive aspects as a director. He is great when it comes to action. He is a former stunt coordinator. He did a lot of stunt work with a lot of movies. He doubled a lot of people. So he knows the world of physical filmmaking, and you definitely see that in this movie. This movie has about double the budget that the first film had, and a lot of that budget went into multiple action sequences that the first film really didn't have the money to do. And he does a rather good job of shooting those sequences. They are very well done. The shots are perfect, the energy in them is very kinetic, and you really feel it. He tends to utilize slow motion a little bit too much for my liking, which kind of bothers me, and I actually thought that it was kind of a joke that they tried to work into the movie, but they never actually commented on it. They just kind of kept using it over and over again. But what you go to see this film for is the character of Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds, we all know, spent years and years trying to make his Deadpool movie. He finally got to do it. It's a big hit, and now he's back for a sequel, and he is so great in this movie. This character is entirely his. He knows how to play it so perfectly, he knows how to work an audience so well, and he knows how to carry this movie. But what is also great in this movie is that there is a dramatic undercurrent. Deadpool is going through an existential journey, and I think Ryan Reynolds does a very great job of showing us that. He is able to use humor to hide his pain, which is something that's very inherent within the Deadpool character that we saw from the first film. And it is utilized even more so in this movie, and it's overall really well done because you have to balance the humor and the drama and of course the action as well, and I feel that the film really does all of those things rather well. What the film I think really struggles at, and one of my major negatives, is that the overall film feels rather loose when it comes to plot integrity. The film is loosely structured, and for most movies that would indicate that this movie is a bit of a mess, which you can argue that it is, but what really keeps it all together is the character of Deadpool, is Ryan Reynolds is able to wrangle all of these different elements and give us a heck of an entertaining time. For me personally, this was one of the funnest experiences I had in a movie theater all year, and the movie is also interesting because it's a commentary on the comic book superhero genre. It's satirizing a lot of its aspects, but it also embraces a lot of them. It uses a lot of them in order to deliver its story, which is an odd thing to me. It's very odd that it can go both ways like that, but I thought it utilized both ways very, very well in a very yin-yang style. And not only is Ryan Reynolds very good, but Josh Brolin as Cable is also fantastic. He's very much the straight, hard, serious man to Deadpool's kind of wacky personality, and they play off each other extremely well in that regard. Zazie Beetz as Domino, she is fantastic in this movie. She steals pretty much every scene she is in, and Julian Dennison is a very young, talented actor who many of you probably saw in the Taika Waititi film Hunt for the Wilder People, and I really liked him in that movie, and I thought he was good in this movie. He is a character who's going through a lot of emotions emotional, dramatic problems, and he delivers them very well, but also delivers a few comedic gems that I thought were also very good. And I understand when it comes to comedy that it is one of the most subjective genres we have of all the genres within film, and what is going to be funny to one person is not going to be funny to another. If you're not into kind of more crude, R-rated humor, if you're not into any of the humor that was in the first Deadpool movie, you're definitely not going to be into the humor that is in this movie because it is dialed up to another level. If you're curious how I think this film stacks up with the first film, I find them to be very different. Different in the sense that the first film is more structured, has a more lean plot, and that it is an overall, I would say, better film from that perspective. The second one I find to be far more entertaining and just laugh out loud funny, and also they're able to do a lot more in the sequel. Like, I would have to give the slight edge to the first film, so overall I'm going to give this film a 3.8 out of 5 stars. It is wildly entertaining, lots of fun, lots of laughs. Ryan Reynolds owns this character. He gives the character a lot more depth in this movie than I originally thought the film was going to have. The film is a little loose when it comes to plot structure and story, but overall I found myself very much enjoying it. Also, stay for the end credit sequence because it is a great end credit sequence that is probably one of the best that we've seen in any of the comic book superhero films so far. This has been my review of Deadpool 2. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.